Hello, good morning. I am Melissa Agnes, and this is Morning Lives with me, Melissa Agnes, a daily space to help leaders just like you stay grounded and connected to your inner strength, your inner, wisdom, that's true too, your inner resilience, your vision, bringing that vision to life, which is what we're going to talk about today, and your purpose, staying connected to your purpose and bringing that to life. So as you step into the work that you do that matters, and if you are here wanting to lead from unwavering steadiness, increased clarity, which we're going to talk about today, and deeper connection, and when I talk about connection, I am talking about connection to yourself, which we'll talk about today, which we talk about every day. It's connection to source, infinite wisdom, infinite intelligence, God, creator, quantum, universe, higher self, whatever you want to call it, that thing that is bigger than any one of us, and connection to those you are leading, then these morning lives are exactly for you, precisely for you, because that is what I show up every single morning to help you do. So each morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, live on Instagram and LinkedIn, soon to be also on YouTube. And then these recordings, just so you know, are also put onto my podcast. So you can listen to them after the fact, anywhere where podcasts stream. So each morning I show up to offer one anchored truth, one anchored message that inspires, delights, empowers, helps you open perspective and maybe see things differently so you could find different answers to this solutions and problems that you're searching for solutions for. And then we do a grounded drop-in, which I will talk more about that when it comes time. But it is a really, really great exercise and skill to develop. Okay, so the three things that I will say for my housekeeping. One, there's a lag. So if you share a comment on Instagram or LinkedIn in real time, I will see it in real time, but it will take the streaming service a few seconds for you to hear the answer. So please, don't think that I'm not seeing it or responding. I definitely love to get your feedback and comments. There's no wrong way to do the drop-in. And my ask in return for these morning lives is to share them. If they serve you, if you receive benefit from them, please share that on so that others can receive benefit from them as well. I have a big vision for these. I believe that the world would be a better place if we had more visionary leaders who knew how to get into alignment and grounded and into coherence and all the things that we talk about. So please help me achieve that goal. All right, by sharing it. Okay, the thing that I want to talk about today is I'm gonna ask you guys to contribute. So is the world shifting and changing all around us, right? Everything changes all the time, but does it feel like to you that a lot is kind of being burnt down to the ground right now? Is this kind of relatable? Do you guys feel this? Please put in the chat. You could just put yes. You could put no. I just want some engagement today. I'm looking for some energy back today. So I would say yes. I would say that it's so easy to look around the world and to see pain and suffering and things changing and shifting and everybody talking about just, all of the changes and usually talking about it out of from a lens of fear because the ego, we've talked about this before, the ego doesn't like anything new. It creates resistance and fear to that. And the reason I want to talk about that is because what if the reason that everything is shifting and changing and some things really feel like they're getting burnt down, what if the reason for that is because it is time for everything that is broken, that was created broken, and that is broken in our society, in our world, it is time for the change. It is time for it to be rebuilt, kind of like that phoenix. And in my experience, so Ryan writes, yeah, it's difficult living in it day to day. It is. Aaron Smalls writes, did you? Yes. Sorry, your thing is so long. Yes. Yeah. It is. And to Ryan's point, it is hard living in it day to day. And so, the what if is, what if like the phoenix, it's being burnt down so that we can rebuild it? And in my experience, and I've talked about this a little bit in the past, I definitely talked about this last week, is in my experience, most people when they're in a moment of this like change and transformation and shifts and uncertainty. We've already talked about how that creates instability in our nervous systems, right? Because our nervous systems like stability, likes to feel safe. And most leaders look externally for answers, because even leaders need leaders. And I've learned that throughout my career. I've seen it, I've witnessed it. And most leaders look externally. But when you look externally at this world, as Orion puts it, where it's difficult to live in day to day, it's difficult to live in day to day because everything is changing. So there are no answers right now of like what's going to come in the future, right? We get to create. We're in this transition. We get to actually visualize what we want to come into the future, what we want our future to be, because as it crashes down, we get to rebuild it. So visionary leaders make that decision for themselves. They don't look externally for the answers. They actually look internally for the answers. What we do externally is we get to witness. We get to witness, we get to be curious, crisis-ready mindset, curiosity, open curiosity, no judgment. And the more you look externally for answers, the more you're going to be met with fear and resistance. Trust me, this is facts. These are facts. And the more you feel fear and resistance, the more your body is going to be flooded with cortisol and adrenaline. The more your prefrontal cortex is going to shut down, the more you're going to enter into that spiral of fear that we can feel all around us, because most people look externally, when really that safety that we all seek actually comes from within. And so the visionary leader goes, oh, isn't it interesting that the world is shifting the way that it is? I wonder why. And they remember that wonder why, you get to create it, because we create our reality. That is how the world works. We create our reality. If we want to be in fear, we will create more fear. If we want to believe in possibility, which I did a whole episode on probability versus possibility leadership, if we want to live and lead from possibility, we get to use our analytical thinking to observe, to witness, to experience, to analyze without, if you can, without emotionality. So you don't want to look at all of what's burning down and all of what's shifting and attach fear to it. You want to stay grounded in self. Remember that the universe is always working for us, it always is, and we get to choose what's next. We get to actually create what's next. That's what visionary leadership does. They visualize, they envision what the better future is, and they bring it to life. They lead us to it. That is you. That is what you get to do, which means that what we are in right now is infinite potentiality. Infinite potentiality. Because what does quantum physics tell us? Quantum physics tells us that every single possibility exists right here, right now, in superposition, which means all at once. And the observer effect, just for simplistic ways of saying this, the observer effect shows us that where we put our attention, where we put our focus, where we put our energy is what we create, is what is the possibility that we pick out of the quantum and we bring it to life. So what is the possibility of that better world? As the world comes crashing down, what is the phoenix that gets to rise from the ashes? You get to decide that. But you can't decide that and bring that to life when you are subscribing to the fear that uncertainty can create in the human system. And so safety comes from within, right? So when all leaders, even leaders, not all leaders, but even leaders, are out there looking externally, going, everything is changing, that's scary. I don't know what to do. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know what tomorrow is. Who can give me the answers? The visionary leader goes, this is an opportunity to create that new tomorrow. What is my vision of that? What's the world that I want to live in? Let's focus on that. And let's remember that safety doesn't come from external sources. Safety comes from within. So what do? We get still. We go within, we create that pathway to safety, which you and I do every single morning, Monday through Friday on these lives. Every single morning you are creating, when we do our breath work, you are creating this pathway to safety. And when you can feel in your system that you are being flooded with adrenaline and cortisol because you have fear thoughts coming on and they're creating that stress and they're shutting down your prefrontal cortex, you get to remember that you can choose differently. And that we talked about this on our very first episode. The very first episode of Morning Lives with me, Melissa Agnes, we talked about how uncertainty, unknown, change, which is what we're living in, is a coin with two sides. On one side of that coin is fear, because the ego doesn't like new. It can't discern between what's dangerous and what's simply uncomfortable because it's new. So it goes, I need to keep you alive. I don't like the new thing. We're going to stay here even if here sucks. So on that coin of uncertainty, you have fear. On the other side of that coin, you have infinite potentiality. You get to choose which side of that coin you subscribe to. And so right now, we are in this incredible position for visionary leaders to rise and to choose infinite potentiality, to believe in the possibility that you choose to believe in, and that you can bring that possibility to reality, which you can. And you get to remember that whenever you feel fear, you feel stress, you get the anxious thoughts, fear lives in the brain, we get to tap into the body, we get to find our safety, we get to raise our vibrations, we get to feel into that vision, we get to believe in that vision, and we get to lead from this place. My hands are like this because this place of like grounded, steady safety that comes from within, and visionary vision that we believe in. This is where we lead from. And this place creates a regulated nervous system. I did a whole episode, I've done so many episodes now, episode on regulated nervous system. I've done the episodes on the heart, the brain, the heart, and the gut centers. I've done the episode on how when we're in alignment like this, when we're in coherence, when we're in regulation, our systems as human beings co-regulate with one another. And the most powerful person in the room is the most regulated person in the room, because everybody else who's in fear, their system on an unconscious level is looking for safety. And leaders, people, think that safety comes from without, right? From external sources. But you as the visionary leader, you know that it comes from within. And so as the regulated leader who's holding that vision and leading people there, you are the safety that people get to co-regulate with, which instantly inspires trust, belief, hope. You get to bring people along on that vision with you, and that's how we create the better tomorrow. That's how we do that today. And it begins with remembering that the answers are not external. Whenever you're looking at the world and you start to feel fear, go in. I woke up at 3 a.m. last night, and I could feel the thoughts of fear or doubt or just stress. There's something, that I'm working through with business, and it was there. And at 3 a.m. I remembered, no, the universe got my back. It's all going to be okay. Regulate, regulate, regulate. That's the work. And I woke up this morning and went back to sleep. I woke up this morning and I meditated and I regulated and I regulated and I regulated. And I got out of stress and I got into infinite potentiality. And then I get to show up here for you, with you, like this. But I didn't wake up like this. I chose this. I remembered this. Okay, it like pumps me up, because infinite potentiality means everything and anything is possible. You get to choose the world that we get to live in. And the more we regulate, and the more we regulate together, the more we bring that vision to life. So let's do that. Let's regulate. Let's regulate together. All right, so if you are new, welcome. Good episode to be new with. We're going to do the drop-in session of this program, which is about 10 minutes, where we do exactly what I just described. We go within. Fear exists in the mind. Fear doesn't exist in the body. Not in the way that we're in the context of what we're talking about. So to get out of stress and out of the worried thoughts and all of the doubt and the fear and all of that noise that lowers our frequency and fills our body with cortisol and adrenaline and shuts down our prefrontal cortex, we get to choose differently. We get to go into the body and we get to regulate, so that we can then step into the rest of the day in alignment with actual clarity. Because when leaders are searching externally for answers, those who go within actually receive the answers. That's the other piece I didn't mention. The answers are found, are received in stillness. And you have to create that safety in the body in order to get still to receive those answers. And then you become the most freaking powerful leader, the visionary leader. And for the record, if you want to learn how to do this, that is what my mastermind does. So if there's a part of you that's like, I want to be that, hit me up. Send me a message that says mastermind. DM me, send me an email. You can find my information everywhere. Send me a message that says mastermind, and you will learn how to step into the embodiment of what I'm talking about. And for today, the first step is getting still. So I ask that for the next 10 minutes, you close down distractions, because this is 10 minutes that you get to gift yourself. You close down distractions. If you are driving, please don't do this. Obviously, you can't, right? It's not safe. Come back to the recording. The recording will be available to you in not too long after this live finishes. If you can't close down distractions and get still, but you're in public, maybe you're in public transportation, maybe you are at a WeWork, maybe you're at a cafe, doesn't matter. Invitation to get still anyway. Even if there's a voice in your brain that says, people are going to think I look silly, I'm going to be judged, great. Let them judge you. Let them think you look silly, because when you come out of this 10 minutes and you are in alignment and you're getting answers and seeking and feeling clarity and you're feeling your most potent self, they're going to start, those people who might have judged or who you were scared that might judge you, they're going to start wondering, what is your secret? And how do I get some of that? And then you get to lead by example, and I promise it'll be very, very, very rewarding. So do it anyway. All right. All you have to do is follow my breath. It was follow your breath and follow my words. And remember, there is no wrong way to do this. These morning lives are for practice. What you're doing is you are strengthening your relationship, your connection with your body, so that you can hear and then listen to all of what I'm talking about, that clarity that you start to begin to get access to when everybody else is panicked and doesn't know what to do and they're looking externally for answers. You do the opposite. You go within, you actually get the answers, so therefore you lead those who are looking externally. Superpower. Your divine human right. You were born with this skill. We just weren't set up for success because people didn't know this stuff when we were in school. Okay, I'm done talking. Getting still, getting quiet, getting comfortable. We're just going to do a simple halo active breath. So it's in through the nose, out through the mouth. We tend to do the same breath every morning, but there are several different types of breath that we can do. And in my programs, I take you deeper into breath work and I teach you those breath patterns. But this breath pattern that we do is a really great tool to get out of dysregulation, out of fear, out of survival, into regulation, into creation, into your body, etc. So it's in through the nose, out through the mouth. Getting still, getting comfortable, shutting down your eyes or softening your gaze, whatever feels best to you. And as you begin that breath, invitation to follow on your exhale, to follow your breath as you breathe out through the mouth, follow it all the way down your body into your sit bones. And I want you to bring your awareness to the sensation of the seat that you are sitting on against your skin, against your body. What do you notice? Keep that breath flowing in through the nose, out through the mouth. What do you notice? When we can decide where we want to bring our awareness, that's another hack, it's another tool to silence our mind and to choose where we put our focus and our energy. And where we put our focus and our energy is what we create, is what we create into our reality. Notice how that seat that you're sitting on doesn't mind if you sink a little bit more deeply into it. Just kind of really de-stress. Let your body rest. And on your next inhale through your nose, whenever that might be, let's follow that breath up from the sit bone. So we're taking the breath in through our nose, and we're following it up our belly and bringing it right to your heart center. Let's keep it there. And as you breathe in through the nose, you're staying with your heart center, and if it is supportive to you, to bring a hand to your heart so that you could help your awareness just stay there. And feel into, with every inhale through the nose, you're expanding your heart open. So you're opening up your heart, you're opening up your chest cavity, you're taking in that oxygen as though it was your heart that was pulling it in. And you're letting it feel so good because your breath is your life force. And your life force gets to be pleasurable. It gets to feel so good. And on your exhale, as you breathe out through your nose, following that breath from your heart down into your belly. And if it's supportive, bringing a hand to your belly. So now you might have a hand on your heart and a hand on your belly, so that you could really focus your attention on these two areas. So keeping that breath flowing, letting it feel good. We're breathing in through the nose, opening up that heart space. Taking in that breath from the heart center, expanding that center, visualizing that your heart's electromagnetic field expanding past your bodily border and really opening up. And with every exhale through the mouth, you're following that breath into your belly, letting that feel safe, letting that feel calming, letting that feel relaxing, letting that feel good. And that's the practice. That's what we're practicing. In through the nose, opening up the chest, out through the mouth, following that breath into the belly, letting it feel safe, letting it feel calming, letting it feel good. Taking that breath by yourself. And if ever thoughts come into your mind, that's great. That means you're alive. What a beautiful gift. Just coming back to your heart. Coming back to your breath. It's just a practice. And as you breathe, let's play. Let's open up that childlike wonder and curiosity. How much more deeply can you inhale and expand from your heart center? And how much more deeply can you exhale and sink into the calm, safety, feel-goodness of your belly, of your body? How much more can you allow yourself to feel good, to feel calm, to feel peaceful, to feel safe? There is no wrong way. There is no wrong answer. Keeping that breath flowing for another few moments. Letting your heart expand with every inhale. Letting yourself sink in with pleasure, with joy. Sink into your body with every exhale. And in our last few moments, if you don't have a hand on your heart space, bringing a hand to your heart. And as you continue to open up and flow that breath, so opening up breathing in through your nose, opening up that heart space. Can you explore with breathing in to your heart, breathing in gratitude? The feeling of gratitude. And letting that come in as you inhale, and letting that gratitude follow your breath down with your exhale into your belly. And just circulating the feeling of gratitude in a way that feels so juicy, so good. Maybe it brings a smile to your face. Maybe it brings tears to your eyes. Maybe it brings sensations to your body. Maybe you feel your heart expand even more. Gratitude is the highest vibration. It feels so, so, so expansive and so good. And you can be grateful for anything. Grateful to yourself for choosing to take these few minutes. Grateful to your body for giving you access to infinite wisdom and clarity and answers and safety while the rest of the world is in fear and looking externally. Gratitude for the ability to do differently and to lead from vision. And as you take your last few breaths, wiggling your fingers and your toes, just to kind of bring the sensations back, your awareness back to the entirety of your body. And coming back to the screen and sharing with me, if you feel so called, how you feel. How was that for you? Did you experience or notice anything different today? And before we leave, a reminder that with all of the changes and all of the, as Ryan put, it being difficult living in the day-to-day today, it's difficult because there's so much uncertainty. It's difficult because there's so much fear and angst, and there's pain and there's suffering. But what do we know to be true? We know that when change is happening, it can be scary. And what else is true is it opens us up to infinite potentiality. And when it feels like so much is burning down around us, think of the phoenix. It's burning down so that we can rise better. And while most leaders and most people are scrambling and searching out of fear for answers that are outside of their body, they are searching outside of their bodies. They're looking to everybody else to give them answers, yet nobody has those answers. So that creates more fear. You get to remember that you get to choose to be a visionary leader. And while the coin of uncertainty has two sides, while most people are subscribing to the fear, you get to remember that you can choose to subscribe to the fact that right now infinite potentiality is in front of us. So what is the new world, the rise of the phoenix? What is that new world, that new reality, that new way? What does that look like to you? Create that vision, feel into that vision, and remember that the answers don't come outward from the outside, they come from within. And they come from the safer that you can feel in your body, the more still that you can get in your body, the more you can feel into that vision of what you know is possible, the more you will actually receive the clarity and the answers for the next steps for you to lead that vision forward and to bring it into our world. You have that power, you have that potentiality, you have that access because it's your divine right. And most people, everybody has it, but most people don't realize it because they haven't been taught. You now know differently. Which means that in this world of chaos and fear, we can remember that it's also presenting us with infinite potentiality, and it's the world is ready for change. What does that change look like? How can you bring that to life? All right. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing you. I will be back tomorrow morning for another morning live with me, Melissa Agnes, at 9 a.m. Eastern, live on IG and LinkedIn. If this was inspiring or beneficial to you in any way, please share it. Please share this video. It will be available on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and as podcast format wherever podcasts are streamed. Please share it. Please share this message. We need more visionary leaders who remember the power that they have and that power exists within, not without, so that we can have more aligned, coherent leaders leading from vision, leading from possibility, and actually create something new. As all the things crash down before us, we get to be that phoenix. We get to choose what that phoenix will look like. We get to do that. So please share this with other visionary leaders. All right. With that, I'm wishing you a beautiful day. Thank you for joining me today. I will see you tomorrow morning, live, 9 a.m. Eastern.